Good evening, everybody. Brian Martin with you from Hot Stove Games, featuring SherCo Grand Slam Baseball. And coming up in just a couple of weeks, we're going to start a new project here. It's the United States Baseball League using the SherCo Slobs rules, a modified version of SherCo Slob rules. 5 teams, each team playing a 24-game schedule. And that will get us 60 games roughly. And what we're going to use, we're going to broadcast a few games, a handful, maybe even more. It just depends on how I feel. But when we broadcast the games, we'll be using my special SherCo Helper. Before anyone posts in the comments or sends me an email or contacts me through however they contact me, this is not available to the general public. This is something I built myself. Using Excel and using the 1980 version of the rulebook. It's my favorite version of SherCo. The 1980 rulebook is no longer available in the current version of the game. It's the 1988 version of SherCo when you play SherCo Classic. I'm using the 1980 version, and this helper was built to help me play the games. It doesn't play the game for me. It has chart lookups, and I then use these buttons here to roll dice and keep track of the game and so on and so forth. And so let's give you a little tour of what you'll see on the screen if you're watching a broadcast of the game. On the left-hand side here are the dice rolls possible from 11 to 66. They're color-coded in it for each and every batter-pitcher matchup. The beige colored results will be walks. The orange colored results will be strikeouts. The red results will be a probable out. The green results will be a probable hit. And the purple result, 66, will be a special event. So whenever you're seeing a batter, you can quickly look to the left-hand side of your screen and get a sense of how this matchup may turn out. There's a reset button here, which basically resets all the lineups. The lineups for each team are here, including their ratings. The defensive lineup in the field, these are where the players are positioned, is here, and the bullpen available for the teams. It's the Boston Breakers and Baltimore Stallions, which are older teams that I have. They'll be replaced by the newer teams once I get all the data input into the system, and the system keeps track of who's at bat. It keeps track of who the pitcher is. It keeps track of how many innings they've pitched. It automatically changes the pitcher rating when they reach their innings of effectiveness. It automatically keeps track of outs, which inning it is. So I just play the game. These windows are result windows, and we'll go through a couple of quick, maybe an inning or so, just to show you how it works. These buttons control the different dice rolls. These buttons advance the batter and record outs and double plays. These buttons here tell you what the current status of the infield is, so you can play the infield back or you can play it in, and you can see that the fielder positions all move based on that. So these buttons control base runners, so there's a runner at first, runners at second and third. You'll see the white dots indicating runners on base, button to clear the bases, and then buttons here to make pitching changes as necessary. Just pick the pitcher, click the button, it brings that pitcher into the game, and it grays the button out so it cannot be used any further in the game. So we'll walk through it. The batter is here, the batter's rating is here, the position they play, and whether they're left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher, pitcher rating, pitcher's name. The probable hit number is always listed here, and you can see it says 45, so it means 45, 46, 55, 56, all probable hits for this batter-pitcher matchup. Any one time, this turns red when a pitcher has exceeded his innings of effectiveness. It's a reminder to me that there may be a pitching change necessary. I have my own solitaire rules for that. So we've reset the game. We're in the top of the first inning. There are no outs, runs, hits, and errors are all 0. And so we just click this button, and this is the pitcher matchup. This dice roll right here, 45, now turns black to show you which dice roll actually showed up. It is a probable hit because 45 is the probable hit number, and then this button opens up the windows that resolve that play. It tells me there's a ground ball to 319. All the action, we're at Babe Ruth Stadium here again, that will be different. This tells you probable hit with the bases empty. It tells you what chart book we're looking at. It tells me that the right fielder lights up to show me he is the nearest fielder to the ball. The green dot here is where the ball is right now. The grounder was to 319. This is row 3, 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. These windows pop up to tell me that Lincoln Brown is an 8-arm, 4 range for fly balls. It tells me that the fielder is 5 squares away from the ball. So if this was a fly ball with a range of 4 and he's 5 away, that means that a fly ball would drop in for a hit. You'll notice here there's the dice roll 16 on this chart is this result. Over here it tells me how many squares the play is from first base, and you do that by counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus the number of bases, the squares to this base right here. It's 11. So it tells me that there's 16 squares. So if the fielder makes his first throw and the dice roll is a 7, he gets a minimum of 8 regardless of the roll. He can get more if he rolls higher than 8. And then it tells me, okay, now that was 19 to first base, that he's not going to, the first throw won't get there. The second throw now is 8 squares away from second base. How do I know that? Well, it was 16 squares. This play was 19 squares from first base, minus the 8 that we got tells me that we are now 8 squares away from second base. So we're 16 squares away from first base. We're now 8 squares from second base. The red, yellow, green tells me that either I cannot advance the runner without him automatically being out, there's a potential tie at second base, or green means he will automatically advance to that base. So the way I play solitaire is if the runner has as many squares left to second base as the fielder's minimum, he always tries to go the extra base. It's a way to prevent what I call SherCo play. Other games have Strato play and APA play, where you can kind of, because you know more as the player, you would say, oh, he's 8 away, I'm gonna play it safe. And this is a way to just say, I'm not really in control of the situation. The game rules can dictate it. So because we are 8 squares from second base, the fielder has an 8-arm, he's going to try it. We roll the dice, he gets his 8, it's a tie, and we go to the automatic ump against an 8-arm. The batter is a single star runner. We hit this umpire button, and we find it's red. For an 8-arm against a single star runner, it's red. It means he's out. So we record a hit because he did get a hit, got a single. We also advance the batter as an out, which records an out, and we don't put anybody on base. He was out trying to stretch it into a double. Good throw. Got the tie, and the umpire called him out, so the throw just barely beat him. So now we go to the second batter, Carter Cook. He's the C11. M7X here. Again, 45 is the number. And right-handed batter, you'll see the brown box here for right-handed batter. It'll be brown for left-handed batter over here. We roll again. This time the roll is a 34. It's within that red range, so it's a probable out. This will now show me a probable out. Fly ball to 1919, which is right there. Because it's a fly ball, we check to see the fielder's fly ball range is a 5, which means he'll catch any ball within 5 squares of his current position here. Fielder to the ball, 1 square, he's out. We will record that as an F8, and we record an out, which now makes 2 outs. This turns red to remind me that this is now a 2-out situation. So certain hit and run rules are in play, etc., etc. And I have that all built into the helper here to help me along. And so Derek Hardy's the batter. He's a C12 right-handed batter against a right-handed pitcher. M7X is the still M7X. Still a 12 to 14, so these will, for each pitcher, these will be the same for every batter. We roll. 46 is a probable hit. We roll the probable hit. Ground ball 12-18, you know that the ball is now hit here. That ball is 19 squares away from first base. If we counted 1, 2, 3, 4 to the ball, we'd find it's 15 squares from here to here. 19 squares to first base. The first throw is a 9, but because he's close to second base, that so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he's somewhere in here. 5 squares away from second base. He would get another throw of 9, and so we're not going to stretch a double. We put a runner at first base. We advance the batter. We record a hit, the second hit of the inning. 2 outs, and now it's Carson Abbott, B13 against M7X 12-14. It's a probable out. Line drive to 18-18. You'll notice that the center fielder pops up white, but you don't see the ball there, and that's just because it can't be both green and white at the same time. The ball is hit right directly to the center fielder. If it was a hit and run, then the ball was caught. The runner would return safely. It doesn't matter. It's a line drive straight to center field. We record the out. Notice the inning now switches to the bottom of the first. Baltimore is now the batting team. Boston, the pitching team. Aubrey Hughes is the leadoff batter here. And Andy Davis is the pitcher for Boston. And now Boston's bullpen shows up. We'll change pitchers in mid-inning here, even though it's the first inning, just to show you how that works. So we start again. Probable out. Fly ball to 19-19, 1 square behind the center fielder. It's within his 5. It's an out. That's 1 down. Next batter is Dustin Foster, a B11. It's another probable out. Ground ball to 3-7. There's the ball there. The third baseman is 3 away, and it's 5 squares to first, 8 squares total. He has a 9 arm, so he will automatically make the play, but we'll roll it anyway. He gets his minimum 9. He's out. That's 2 outs. Okay, Andy Davis seems to be struggling just a little bit, so it's going to be Nolan Robbins coming into the game, who's the last pitcher here. We hit the button there. You'll notice it whites itself out, grays itself out. Nolan Robbins now is here. His rating is here. He's a left-handed pitcher facing Logan Moore, a left-handed C12. Hit numbers of 45. It's a probable hit with 2 outs. It's a fly ball to 12-27, and it automatically knows, because of the way I have the stadium programmed, it knows that that fly ball is a home run because it's in the yellow, which means it's over the wall. And so Logan Moore has hit a solo shot here in the first. We clear the bases, we advance the batter, and we chalk 1 run and 1 hit for Boston. So the relief pitcher comes in and gets lit up for a ding-dong right off the bat, and then another probable hit, this time to 56. Ground ball to 14-19, it's in the gap. Center fielder lights up because he's the closest fielder. He's an 8 arm. His first throw is an 8, puts him 7 squares from second, so again, we're not going to try and advance him. We record another hit, and Antoine Palmer is the catcher, and he strikes out. The 14 there, his 12-14 strikeout rating. We advance the out, and would go then to the second inning with the score Baltimore 1 and Boston nothing. And so we'll be using this helper throughout the season to broadcast games. So what I will be doing is I will be broadcasting the game as though I was doing it on radio, and give you a sense of the game. And hopefully this, when you blow this up on a larger screen, you'll be able to follow along with all of the chart results, but I'll try and broadcast in a way that we don't really refer to the terms probable hit, probable out. You'll just see all of the action happen as it occurs throughout the game. So that's what we're doing here. The season will be starting shortly. Again, a 60-game season. I'll probably try and do maybe 10 games, maybe more. Just depends on how I want to do things. But this is what you'll see on the screen every time there's a game going on, and hopefully you can follow along with the action and excitement of USBL baseball. And as always, thank you for watching, and until next time, good night, good baseball. So long, everybody.